Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Tutor Impact TV with Toby. Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. The topic of this video is why you shouldn't try to be too clever. If we can let go of the idea that everything we need to say and do should be clever, then we can be more creative, which makes us more adaptable. We enjoy the things we do more, and ultimately we'll become more successful. So let's unpack this a little bit more. If we try to be too clever, we can often narrow our thinking and limit our possibilities. So let me tell you a story that illustrates this. A teacher asked a class full of students, "What colour is an apple?" One student said, "Apples are red." And another student said, "Apples are green." And the teacher said, "Yes, you're both right. Apples can be red or green or a mixture of both." One student said, "Apples are white." And the teacher said, "No, apples can't be right. That's not correct." And the student said, "Yes, they definitely can be. Apples are white." But the teacher held her ground and said, "No, apples are not white." So the student then asked the teacher, "What happens when you bite into the apple?" And at that point, the teacher realized her mistake, because apples are white on the inside. Many adults, and some teachers too, often think that they have the final say on what is good, correct, or clever. You'll hear things in the home or in school along the lines of, "Well done, that's a really clever idea that you've come up with." Because being clever is seen as this really, really good thing, then coming across as stupid or saying something stupid is something you really don't want to do. But often this results in disregarding certain ideas that come into your head. And so to try to be clever all the time is inherently limiting in this way. And so often you'll see something else that's clever, and you'll do something similar to that, because that's a safer option than trying something new, because that new thing might be stupid. But the problem is, this leads to inhibition in our own self-expression, and often the ideas that we come up with will be more unoriginal, and they won't bring anything new to the table. So perhaps what is better than trying to be clever is letting yourself be obvious. I was at an improv comedy class the other day, and for those of you who don't know what improv comedy is, it's improvised comedy. So you make it up as you go along, and you're playing these characters, and it's not planned out, so you don't know what you're going to say. So you have to think on your feet. And it's one of those things where if you tried to be clever all the time, you would really have to stop and think, and it would break the flow of what you're saying. So I was at a class the other day, and two students were doing a scene about visiting a tailor, somebody that makes clothes. So in this scene, the tailor explained to the customer that he only sold black robes. The other student, playing the customer, then asked the tailor what he was called, and the tailor said, "I'm the black robe tailor." It was an obvious answer, but also the best answer. If the student had tried to come up with something original or clever, it wouldn't have elicited the same laughter in the crowd. In the previous section and on your screen now is a picture of Keith Johnstone, who is a big figure in the field of improvisation. And if you feel like it, you can pause the video and read a quote of his where he talks about the value of being obvious as opposed to being clever. Sometimes the best results come when we aren't even trying. We just go with the flow, we do what we think is obvious, and we don't try too hard to be clever. And as an interesting extension of this, let's consider the book Maximum Performance, which was written by Lawrence Morehouse and Leonard Gross. These authors interviewed as many world record-setting athletes as they could about their world-beating performances. And here's what they found. They found that when these athletes recalled, spoke about their time when they set a new world record, they would often say that the effort felt easy, and at the end, they probably had more to give. They felt as if they weren't really trying as hard as they could have. But really, through not trying as hard, they weren't tensing muscles unnecessarily. They relaxed, and they only used the muscles that were absolutely essential for their performance. So again, this illustrates how trying too hard can actually undermine you and keep you from the success that you are striving towards. In summary, it's possible to try too hard, and it's possible to try too hard to be clever. When we try too hard to be clever, this makes our ideas unoriginal because we have a tendency to want to imitate others, and it limits our creativity because we won't consider as many ideas as we otherwise would. This is illustrated by the apple story that I told you earlier. So when we can let go of trying and just do what is obvious to us and what feels right in the moment, this is when our best self comes forward. So perhaps we should all consider doing the obvious instead of trying to do the clever. Thank you for tuning in to Tutor Impact TV with Toby. I'll see you next time.